Greetings, you all. I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the astrology that's happening. It's so important in so many ways that that reality is like, okay, let me start. Because I'm so excited. It's like, oh, okay. So the nodes are about to shift out of Taurus and Scorpio and into Libra and Aries. This is a big fucking deal. This is a big deal. And I think the way that I want you guys to think about it is just by thinking about the last 18 months of your life and what came from the last 18 months of your life. Like, what showed up different? What moved through you and that made you think about life in a different way? Like, what happened in the world? Like, all of that stuff was scorpionic. We have been through a profound transformation. We are not the same as we were 2 years ago. We are really fucking different, y'all. And how, I know it from my own personal experience, and because I have been doing the work to ride the new energy coming in, like learning how to ride a bull. So I'm very aware of it because of the astrology. So I can be with it because I know that it's astrological. But there was a time in my life when I didn't know that it was astrological, and I would just cast everyone as a villain in my life. I would just make life my enemy because I didn't recognize that there were energetic changes that were happening. So I would feel stuff, and because I couldn't make sense of it, I would make it be about somebody or something that was going on in my life. And astrology has saved my life because now I know that most of what's happening is me creating it in my head that then informs my actions and choices, and then and it pulls everybody else into it. And so the thing about, because this is all an energetic system, and the energetic system is truly manufactured through our thoughts. This is an energetic system that is manufactured through our thinking. Except that our feelings are generating our thoughts. Like, it's so important to have that feeling, mental thing in alignment, because when they are not, chaos is your life, okay? So here's the thing. The nodes are about to switch. And as the nodes switch, she said, I hop on your lives every time. I'm happy you're here. As the nodes switch from Taurus into Aries and Scorpio into Libra, there is going to be there has been such a lot of loss. Okay, so that's Scorpio because death. So there was a lot of deaths, all that sort of stuff. I have 3 people who I know have died in the last couple, because Scorpio is death. So things, systems, ways of being that are outdated. And if people are not keeping up consciously, they are dying. So things are really dying. Okay, but the nodes are now about to go into Aries and Libra. And Aries and Libra, y'all, I'm telling y'all, this one, Aries and Libra Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. And Aries is this energy that is so interesting, you guys. Like, as I have, studied the archetypes and the cosmos and paid attention to nature, and as I have really done my work and my due diligence to understand what these symbols are, what these astrological representations are as archetypes and in the world, Aries is proving to be one of the most interesting because Aries is the baby, and it means that you have to make your own way. It's this really unique energy that says, It's up to you. Now, the challenge is that as a baby, you're born into a system that's already created. So many of us don't go against the system. We just fall in line because our Aryan energy, our baby energy, gets sucked up by the environment that we're in. And so many of us just become our parents, just become the environment. And I watched it in my own life because as a child, I remember being really sparkly and but then being in an environment where there was drug addiction and sadness and pain, and Aries is so it's so sensitive, so I could feel all of that. So you're destined to become the thing that you are entrenched in as a baby, unless you have some fucking courage, unless you have the willingness to stay true to your own will. And most people cannot, which is why our culture is the same, which is why we repeat the same things over and over and over again. Most people do not have the courage to follow their own voice, to be true to themselves, because everyone else is doing the same thing. And so we just energetically pull each other into these ways of being. And it's something that I see, now that I've lived enough time, I remember when everybody was free thinking and open and excited. I remember that. I remember the age right around when everybody was still like, and then life starts to happen, and life starts to kick your motherfucking ass, and people conform. Like, this motherfucker is no joke. So people's grit goes away. People really collapse into the reality that has been set before us. And that is not what Aries is. Aries is do it your own way. Have the courage. Have the fight. Be courageous. Be true to yourself. It's the pioneer. It really is demanding that you be true to yourself. And now the no's are going there. And the question is, how can we do that? How can you actually have the courage to be true to yourself? It is not an easy feat. When you have everyone else, like there are these, like to start your own business or to, like, I have done the work now to follow my own path. And I've walked out of the agreements and the collective beliefs that we have all agreed to. I've walked out of it. It is fucking hard, you guys. It is so hard. It's so, like, I'm telling you, had I known, like, there's certain things that I've done in my life that I've been like, oh, had I known before I did this what this was going to be like, I wouldn't have done it. But I just didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I was so miserable. I couldn't do it. So here are some things. Like, I ran marathons. I would never tell anybody to run marathons. It is horrible. It is the worst fucking thing ever. People who are doing it are insane. And you have to have an enormous amount of energy to do it. And you have to do it because you really want to do it. You have to do it for a reason that's spiritual. I would never tell anybody to run marathons. I would never tell anybody to get married. It is an insane choice. I don't understand it. I did it. Marriage is, I don't know. Like, marriage is not the thing that I believed it would be, but I also know that I was under a spell. I was under a spell of, like, happily ever after. I was under the spell that men save the day. I was under the spell that I was a damsel in distress and I needed to be rescued. I was under a spell. And once I got married, I realized that, oh, this is not what I think it is. And I had to really do some deep, deep, deep soul searching to understand the choice that I had made, and to learn to use it as an opportunity for growth and healing, until it was time for it to be done. And it wasn't the partner, it was the institution. Like the partner I was with is a great human being. It's the marriage institution. The way the contract here is set up in this United States for women, it drains our energy in ways that really handicaps us from evolving and being who we're really meant to be. Like, I don't believe that a woman in this day and age can really be who she's meant to be if she's in a contemporary marriage. I don't believe it's possible. The agreement is that you don't have any power and he has all the power. And so that renders everyone vulnerable. When a woman is not in her power, everyone else is weaker. Everyone else suffers. And this is not some happy wife, happy life. That's not what it is. They gave you that language to trick you to believing that you just need a happy wife. No, you need a partner, a woman who is in her spiritual power. And if your wife is not spiritually empowered through her understanding of her own self as the connection to the divine, everyone else will suffer because she is not being sourced by the power that is the divine power. And so she can't really source everybody else. So I would never tell anyone to get married because it is not a game that is set for anybody to win, in my perspective and my experience. So as the nodes move into Aries, we will have the power that we now need to have the courage to be ourselves. Now, the challenge is many of us are going to have to clean up a lot of fucking shit because you have denied your power. You don't trust yourself. Don't love yourself. Like, you've been thinking it's money. You've been thinking it's him. You've been thinking it's her. You've been thinking, and you about to find out that it's all you. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup that needs to happen. And so the cleanup is not going to be easy. And that's why, Aries is the warrior. So it could turn out that we have a lot of really hard stuff going on in the world right now because the nodes in Aries is about war. It's about new beginnings, right? And it's a reactive energy because it's a baby. So if you remember being a baby, which most of us don't, or if you've had a baby, they don't own themselves. They have to figure it out. Oh, that's a hand. Oh, so Aries is reactive. People are just responding to stuff before they really understand what they're dealing with. And I'm going to tell y'all, if you can do your best to slow the fuck down, slow down. Set an intention to slow down so that you don't find yourself in situations that you find that later on you're like, what the fuck? She said, I'm an Aries, my 7th house, and these partners and how I relate has been wild. Yes, absolutely. You find yourself having to fight for everything because you gave your power away too early. And then they think that you're one way, but you're really another way. And then you get in there, you got to fight for shit. Yeah, so I'm telling you all, take your time. This Aries energy is going to be ripe. I mean, ripe. Like, it's a baby, right? And, what did she say? How does this relate to... She said, I found out that I'm pregnant. In shock. You thought you were infertile. Woo! It's Cancer season. It's Cancer season. I always say that if you want to get pregnant, do it in Cancer season. Because this is when we are the most fertile, in Cancer season. That is so funny, but congratulations on that. And that's going to be the birth of a new reality. Like, so when you have a baby, you birth a new reality. And Aries is going to be, so that's how your energy will get integrated, through you giving birth to something. And then you're going to have to teach that baby and all this other stuff. And so, but the reality is, can you teach them in a new way? Can you offer a new perspective? Can you, this Aries energy is about us having the courage to be true to ourselves, so this is an opportunity for people to really get in alignment with their own sense of self, your own self. What can I say? Your own self, like, and many of us need to discover what that is. Like, all I know is that there was a time when I had a sense of this stuff, but now that I'm in an experience of it now, I'm so clear about what I didn't know. I'm still close to it. And I didn't know that it was important for me to define myself according to my own. I didn't know that. Like, I really thought I needed to do what other people wanted me to do. I needed to be this because they wanted it. I really thought I had to align myself to other people for safety, for well-being, for love, right? I didn't realize that it really comes from inside of yourself. We really are generating it from the self. And so you have to believe in yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to be curious about yourself. I remember a couple of years ago, Spirit said to me, after I'd done so much work, and I was feeling so good because I was really watching my family start to heal. And Spirit said, now you can get to know yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you don't know yourself yet. You just have healed the trauma. You just have really looked at the trauma and seen how you were participating and stopped that. Now you get to know who you are. I was like, you mean to tell me I still don't know myself? And I'm 50 something years old. Spirit said, no, you do not. And the fact that you think you do is arrogance, first of all, but the fact that you think you do is also like this, it just shows how deeply programmed you are, that you really don't have a clue with what you're working with. And since then, which has been 2 years, I'm starting to realize how the body really works, how I can talk to my body, how telepathy really works, the spirit of what it means to be a creative being. I'm starting to realize all these things that I didn't know, that I would have never thought to even question. I'm starting to realize how everything is connected. I can see the connections in everything. I'm starting to realize that I'm starting to see it and experience it. I'm starting to realize how my power was being siphoned off through agreements and belief systems and all of these things that, we're taught and told. They really are just stealing you from yourself. They're just stealing you from yourself. And there is an incredible opportunity. And I'm going to tell you, like, I had to go to nature to learn it. And so, but when you get curious enough about who you are, then nobody can steal it. I got that download from my grandma last night. She had no idea and literally was going crazily mentally and spiritually. That's right. And so I'm telling you all, the gift that keeps on giving is astrology. Astrology helps me really understand what's going on in the energetics. And then I get to see what's going on in the world. And I'm like, oh, this is some fuck shit. This is why everybody's confused. This is why everybody's in pain. This is why everybody is, seeking and never satisfied. This is why everybody is, deeply depressed, the suicide rates out of this world, because we're all misusing the energy. We're misusing it. So these nodal changes are going to help us come back into alignment with ourselves. And you're going to have to learn to trust yourself. You're going to have to learn to trust yourself. You're going to have to love yourself. You're not going to be able to drain energy from another person any longer like that. It's not going to work. We're about to watch a lot of people get divorced, y'all. We're about to watch a lot of divorces, okay? This energy is birthing healthy love. That's right. For self. That's right. That's right. That's right. And here's the thing. Our whole country, if you're American, our country is built in this old energy. I was thinking about this today. America is a Cancer. And so Cancer is the mother. So it is profoundly powerful in that it's born in that energy. But also the mother has this incredible power to manipulate through making people feel good, right? Like that's the thing that's tricky about the Cancer energy, and we're in it right now, is that, we have to always be mindful, and I have to be mindful of this inside of myself, is how good we feel when people are reliant upon us, right? Like the energy of, like I remember when I was mothering a young child, and when I breastfed for 3 years, and when he would latch onto my breast and pull, the feeling of the letdown of the milk was like woo. And it's so important that we really understand our relationships that make us feel a certain way, and becoming over reliant upon people because of how they make you feel. It's such a Cancerian thing, and America has that tricky energy in it. It's like you can become reliant upon things because they feel a certain way, but everything that feels good is not good for you. It's so important to understand that. And, and so it's just something to think about. Like, I know it's an abstract thing. I know what I'm saying is pretty abstract. But yes, it is important to be the master of detachment, because, in the animal kingdom, it's very different. In the animal kingdom, we watch, animals have a child, like they will lay eggs sometimes and go away, and that child has to fend for themselves forever. You know what I mean? Like, or at some point in the animal kingdom, they really do kick you out. But the negative aspect of Cancer energy is that the mother is reliant upon the need, and that's what America is. It's like a neurotic mother who needs to be needed. And so all of the systems here are backwards and inside out, and they don't really offer what they say. And, it's this really, really, really dark energy. And so as the nodes move into Aries, we're going to really have to learn to rely upon ourselves, to rely on our power, our energy, and not be over-reliant upon others in ways that's shadowy or out of balance. It's really about you coming into your own power. And so, anyway, I don't know, I didn't mean to go there, but that's a part of this thing, this nodal shift in America, because America has gone through its Pluto's return. And the Pluto return is about your own authority. It's about your own authority. And, You're going to have to really learn your authority. But you have to know, like what I know now is that I had to learn what my authority was. I had to learn it by studying my chart, my natal chart, so that I could understand how my energy best functioned, right? So I used to really think that I wanted to be in relationship. Like I was like, I need to be married. I need to be married. Internally, I was chasing. I was really a chaser. And when I started learning my natal chart, though, I was like, oh, I have an Aries North node. That means I'm supposed to go it alone. I'm a pioneer. I'm here to create an identity that's based on me. That's not about another. And like, I'm not here to give my energy to anybody. But I had to learn that through my natal chart. Otherwise, I would not have known it. I would have just been so sad and suffering and none of my relationships work. And how come my relationships don't work? And everybody is this. I would have believed all of that. But when I got into my natal chart, I was like, oh, that's why this doesn't work. That's why I'm forcing. That's why I need to really know myself. And I'm trying to give all my energy and power away. And I was so afraid of my power. Oh, that's another thing about Aries. You cannot be afraid of your power. And many of us are afraid of our power. We're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of the time that it takes to really discover and know who we really are. So we busy ourselves with so much distraction. And what I've discovered is when you stop busying yourself, when I realized that there was really nothing out here that was that interesting to me. That there was not a dick that was interesting enough that I needed to really just devote myself to him and it. That there was not a pretty dress that was pretty enough that I needed to, when I realized that I could not distract myself enough and I stopped distracting myself and got clear and started paying attention to what was going on within me. I mean, what I'm discovering is just profound. But I was so afraid of my power. I was so afraid of actually being powerful. I was really afraid, y'all. I was really afraid that God was listening. I was really afraid that the universe was going to say, okay, you can have whatever you want. I was really afraid that the universe was going to comply and say, have it, darling. I was afraid of that. I was afraid of what that would mean. And so I was distracting myself with everything. I believe everyone should study and understand astrology, but it's been somewhat demonized to make people believe it's witchcraft or fake. Just imagine how we would all be if we were taught astrology. Yeah, I'm teaching that now. That's what I teach at Follow the Sun. That's what Follow the Sun is about. It's about us learning how the astrology works in our lives and learning to worship yourself. Learning to worship yourself. But it is really, this opportunity is like, it's about not being afraid of yourself, not being afraid of what's possible, being afraid to push the limits, being afraid to be alone long enough to discover the magic that's inside of you. And I promise you, once you are alone long enough to discover the magic within you, you can then have anything you want. When you discover what it is you've been running from, you can have anything you want, and everything you want will change, though. It's like now what I want is something so different than what I thought I wanted. I want something so different. My desires have really shifted. My desires have shifted to me really understanding my power. She said, when you said what you said about over-reliance in things, is that make us feel good? That has been my lesson in 2023. That's right. Not everything that feels good is good for you, including people. That's right. I was listening to one of those podcasts, and one of those guys said, "Who needs astrology?" Everybody doesn't need astrology. If they don't believe they need it, they don't need it. So let me say this. I do believe that there are other ways for people to get it. Astrology is such an easy map, though, is what I'll say. But the universe is vast beyond everything I know in my conscious mind. So there are other ways. Numerology is a way. It's not just astrology, numerology, herbology. There's so many ways, but you have to go through the natural pathways to get it. Let's say it that way. Yes, so it's not just astrology. Astrology is an easy way that I was able to tap into it. But you can do it with numerology. You can do it with crystals. You can do it. There are people are mighty, mighty gifted, y'all. I got to really say that. So I want to stand course corrected if I've really made it seem like astrology is the only way. Astrology is one of the amazing ways that we can get it. And I love it. And I'm really having a really good time with it. And I'm no longer afraid of my power, because through astrology, I was able to realize how my power works. And I'm still learning. I've not figured it all out, but I was able to realize a lot of how it works. And, I'm learning how my power works. So one of my gifts is that I can perceive human beings in their true states. I can see somebody without all the baggage. I can see it. I've always known it, but I've never known that it was a really unique thing. I can see who people are if they didn't have all the bullshit. And it is an amazing gift because I can see it. I can see who they are, and then I can direct them to the choices that will help them get free through their mind, spirit, and way of being. I can do that. That's one of my gifts. But I didn't know that before. I didn't know that. And it is a spectacular gift. Another gift I have. Look at right now I can go down my list. So that's one thing I can do. I can see people's gifts. Because I'm a Virgo, I'm a servant, right? So I know how my gifts work. So I'm not really here to be really out in the front, really. I'm like a background person, but a major background person. I'm a major background person. Like I can help people see the things that they cannot see, which is what I just said. But I can also help them find the solutions to it, is what I'll say. I also have a real ability to make information accessible to people. The way that I translate things that are challenging makes people get it. I can make things accessible in ways that, and with things that wouldn't otherwise be accessible. Yes, I am a behind the scenes person. I am a queen or king maker. I really am. Or a goddess maker. I really am. I'm really more of a goddess. Like helping people see how they create their realities is my gift. Anyway, so I'm discovering my gifts, and midheaven 10th house in Cancer. Midheaven 10th house in Cancer. That's a really highly creative energy. That's a very creative energy. And I just would say be mindful of how people rely upon you. That's what I would say with that mid-house in Cancer. Be mindful about how you use your power with people. Make sure, because people will really rely upon you. So make sure you're always pointing people back to themselves, pointing people to their own power so that they don't become over-reliant upon you. And that you aren't in love with people being reliant upon you, because that's a tricky thing. That's a real karmic path. That's a real karmic energy. All right, y'all. I just wanted to come in and talk about the nodes. My North Node is in Virgo. I've been exploring my chart and learning more over time. Thank you for showing up here to teach. It's my pleasure. Yeah, you all. So with the Aries energy, the node's moving in Aries. It's moving in Aries as we speak, y'all. Self. And here's the thing, the final thing I'm going to say about it. What you do for yourself is good for others. That's the thing you got to know about Aries. That when you are true to yourself, that is also a benefit to others. And so often we make being true to ourselves something that seems like it is going to impose upon others or harm others, or we think we're taking away something from other people. But when you are true to yourself, you are actually doing a service to the other. So learn how to be true to yourself. Learn how to really show up for yourself. Love yourself and be an example. Be a pioneer. And I mean, like, really be true to yourself. There is no Christ outside of you. There is no God above you. Women really need to understand this. I know as a woman, I really sought a savior in a husband, in a Jesus, in an external, in money. I really deeply felt like I needed somebody to come and save me. I really did. It was a very interesting thing. Like, I know that it was something in my past life. Like, maybe I died, waiting for something, but because I had this tremendous yearning to be rescued. It was a profound thing. And I used to hear the voice inside of me say, "You are the rescuer." How you gonna wait for somebody to rescue you when you are the one coming to rescue? It was a profound internal thought. Like, you are the hero, bitch. What are you waiting on? Who can come and save the hero? The hero is you. And as women, I feel like we all know that. We are waiting for the white horse. We are waiting for the man, the love. And I'm not saying that isn't a real thing, but I'm saying that they don't meet that deep need of that profound. They can't meet that. That has to come from inside of you. And then when you give that to yourself, then you can meet people and meet partners and have lovers and partners that actually resonate at the tone of your own self-love. But nobody can come and fill that deep gap of yearning. It doesn't exist outside of you. It does not. And when I asked more and more and more, like, what is it that I really, really, really want? It wasn't the love of a man. It was the love of me to love myself enough to develop my gifts, to be myself, to know myself, to be curious about me, why I feel, what I'm capable of. That's what I really desired. And no man could give me that. No man could give me that. Have you ever experienced past life regression sessions? I know a young lady who did it, and she literally became a different person overnight. Wow, I have not experienced past life regression sessions, but I do them on myself. That's how I transform my energy, by doing regressions in the moon work. When I was with Progressive Love, we would call it lacing, and when I was in USM, you can go back and do your own. You literally just go into your own psyche. Yeah, it's a really powerful energy. It's the Neptunian energy, to be able to recover your memories, to erase those memories and put in new ones. And many of us really need that. Like, we just need a new identity. You just need to let go. And it's in the body. And so there are all sorts of methods. The tapping helps that. You know, the moon work that I do, womb work helps that. All of those, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there now. Anyway, you guys, I'm done. I'm tired. I love y'all. And I encourage y'all to talk offline. Yes, I encourage y'all to talk offline. Okay, peace and blessings, everyone. I'll talk to you at another time. Oh my gosh, be mindful. These nodes are really great. The nodes are really great. I'm going to come back in tomorrow and talk about Mercury and Leo, because that's a big deal too. All right, bye, everyone.